Well, seems like MAGA, they have been offended because a Congresswoman called Trump a thug. Here it is.
Democrats got out there and we said that our democracy was really at risk. People were like, oh, Democrats, you're out there, you're gaslighting. It's not our democracy. Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, you know, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States.
MAGA is going crazy. Oh my goodness, clutch my pearls. Someone just called Trump a thug. Now, Trump has literally name-called his way to the presidency. And they loved it when Trump would call other people out of their name. Now, let's put it a full mass and get into the background and the foreground. Jasmine Crockett, MAGA's least favorite member of Congress because she tells the truth, continued efforts to brand Donald Trump as a thug, telling MSNBC viewers on Sunday that, quote, we may not have a United States soon, end quote. If Democrats fail to stop the president's unprecedented power grab, it was at least the second time Crockett has used the term to describe the current president, Donald Trump. During an Instagram live video, she reminded voters they, quote, wanted a thug in chief. And that's exactly what we got, end quote. Much like last week, Crockett's remarks sent MAGA into a tizzy. On X, one commenter called the Congresswoman, quote, the lowest class and most vulgar person currently in Congress, end quote. Another, thug Jasmine Crockett projects and calls President Trump a thug, he wrote. Texas should be ashamed of electing such a vile woman. Throw her out of Congress, thundered one Crockett critic, while another compared her unfavorably to progressive New York Congresswoman AOC, as if that would be an insult to be in the company of AOC. Now, here's the reality. You are seeing what privilege looks like. While the trait of characteristics, behavior of Donald Trump will be dismissed, they will be excused, they will become apologists for his extreme and insane behavior. They will criticize a black woman named Crockett for one comment that, frankly, we all know is true. There's more. Let's put them up. So meanwhile, former Donald Trump speechwriter Darren Beattie, who was fired in 2018 after CNN revealed he spoke at a conference attended by white nationalists, has been elevated to a top job at the State Department. Multiple sources familiar with the move told CNN he once praised Dr. James Watson. Remember that guy? The founder of modern genetics, who later suggested black people were less intelligent than white people, as, quote, the greatest living American scientist. He repeatedly said black lawmakers, policymakers, and groups need to learn their place and take a knee to MAGA. Keep his picture up. For those who supported Trump, did you support this? Maybe you did. For black Republicans who supported Trump, did you support this as well? Maybe you did. The reason why this is important is because personal bias, personal intention creates public policy. When you put individuals in political power who have policy or administrative policy capability, They make decisions based on the bias within. So the speechwriter was appointed to serve as the acting undersecretary for public diplomacy and public affairs, a key role that is responsible for helping shape U.S. messaging abroad related to counterterrorism, violent extremism, according to the State Department website. Let me tell you his real job. His real job is to keep an eye on the alleged actual appointed Secretary of State. That's his real job. He's the shadow government, in other words. He's the guy really pulling the strings. CNN's K-File first reported 2018 that the speechwriter, a former Duke University visiting instructor, spoke in 2016 to the H.L. Mencken Club, a gathering that also included white nationalists such as Richard Spencer and more, who was then working as a speechwriter for Trump, defended his speech, claiming it was an academic speech in its nature. The Washington Post later reported he was fired after CNN's article. Let's put up the social media post. This same clown also made a series of racially charged comments, writing in one tweet last year, quote, "Competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work." Unfortunately, our entire national ideology is predicated on coddling the feelings of women and minorities and demoralizing competent white men. You got to laugh, not to cry. He literally supports the most incompetent white man we have ever seen even run for president of the United States, let alone be it. His tweets and his context are always in the defense of, as he calls them, competent white men. Sir, if they were so damn confident, why are you coddling them? Why are you complaining about treatment? It sounds like to me, the only coddling that's being done is you of competent white men. All right, here's what Crockett had to say.
We saw what he literally recently just posted, and the coddling is for the white boys. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel away and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education. We know why they created the HBCUs in the first place. It was because they wouldn't allow us into the white institutions. And so now they're not allowing us in. And now they're saying, you know what, we're also going to defund the HBCUs. You know why? Because they don't want any more Kamala Harris's. They don't want any more Jasmine Crockett's.
Very sad state of reality. I received an email. I'm a college professor. One of the colleges I work at is an HBCU. We received an email, literally, that said, hey, we may be defunded. I have never in my life considered that email would ever come to my desk. We are in a different country. Sharon, you see the writing on the wall. What are your thoughts?
Well, this should be expected. Really, the only surprising thing in the litany of things that you just related, Doc, is that number one, Donald Trump even has a speechwriter, and number two, that he was fired during the first term for being exactly the most qualified racist, bigot, whatever, that Donald Trump could ask for. That's one job that was definitely overqualified. That white man was the speechwriter. Listen, we're here. And I'm getting a little tired of, I have plenty of complaints, Doc, about the Democrats and on and on. But Jasmine Crockett is a truth teller. Can we talk about who's really to blame here and demand that they get on board with fixing it? No longer can you parse, oh, I voted for this, but I don't like the overall sexual assault and I don't like the overall racism. Well, that's what you voted for. And now that's what we're getting.
That's right. Well said. Obviously, there will be updates to this as we continue to follow the tearing away of legacy in this country.